Welcome to Faith, Fiction, and Folklore, or as we like to call it, the Try-F Podcast, where we try not to F the podcast up. And today, we got 3 subjects we're going to talk about, or try to talk about. We're going to revisit the Epstein situation. In my humble opinion, Trump has been doing a great job on a lot of different stuff, but this Epstein thing remains a turd in the punch bowl.
I haven't heard any new information in a long time.
It just keeps getting worse. It's more of the same. It's like, we know he's CIA. Just admit he's CIA. Everybody's been screaming he's CIA. We're paying for child trafficking. Just up it and get it over with. But anyway, so we got that. But he's been doing great on a lot of other stuff. You know, our first story today is the Tylenol situation. We learned that apparently Tylenol is a contributing factor to autism, and apparently people were so incensed. Of course, Tylenol was like, we told you not to take Tylenol when you're pregnant anyway. I don't know what... that, like, it's for emergencies only. You shouldn't take it when you're pregnant. We already said that. So it's not like it's Tylenol's fault. But apparently women were so incensed that I guess one girl took a bunch of Tylenol. Yeah, it wound up in the hot.
She almost
OD'd on it. Just to... Why?
Just to prove a point. Prove a point.
Well, it wasn't the point she wanted to prove. So, anyway, so we're going to talk... Sorry, Greg.
Like, we just hate Trump so much, we're going to give our...
I'm going to OD. That'll show him.
That'll show him.
Oh my gosh. I just don't understand people. I really don't. Anyway, so we had that wonderful little thing that happened. And then we're going to end the night with a review of The Matrix. I went through all the H.G. Wells stuff, and we let the people speak because the first one did really well. The Time Machine reviews performed pretty well on our channel. Everything else... Apparently nobody cares about the island of Dr. Monroe. It's a little subtle. And nobody's even heard of things to come. So people didn't care so much about those. I care about them because H.G. Wells was a filthy communist. Or I'm sorry, Fabian socialist. But anyway. So apparently nobody cares about that. So we're going to talk about something else related to sci-fi and see what it does. We're going to talk about The Matrix. And depending on how much...
Is that the one? Is that the one with Neo?
That is the one of Neo. The one where he dodges the bullets.
That's my favorite.
Yeah, the first one's good. The others are terrible. But we'll talk about that later. Except, actually, I liked the last one more than I thought I would, actually.
What?
Resurrections. The fourth one. The one that the director clearly didn't want to make and was forced to make. And so he, like, complained about the directors and the studios in the film, and they still let him do it because it's like, we don't care, man. It's a cash cow. You can whine about us. We're still going to get our money. So
we want to make
so we'll talk about that. And, yeah, and then if there's time, we've got an extra topic. And then I've got something of an announcement to make, but I won't dwell too long on that. So with that gigantic, long, convoluted introduction over with, Mr. Trevor, how are you?
I don't know. How are you?
Exhausted. All
Let's
right.
go with that, then.
Greg, how are you?
Also exhausted.
Yeah, you were chasing little ones around today, so yeah.
Man, they crashed so hard when we got home.
Well, that's good.
You're not allowed to crash.
Oh. Wait till they start yelling, I'm not tired! So...
It's not my bedtime.
All right. Well, we'll start with this first topic.
Or not the mama.
Not the mama. I haven't got not the mama yet. I haven't been downgraded yet to that extent. Well, we'll start.
We're at the stage.
No, go for it. Go for it.
Go ahead. I was just gonna say we're at the stage where Lucy is loudly saying words and mispronouncing them. So, Kitty has 3 T's in it, and she yells that very loudly. Or does not have an S in it. anytime she sees a picture of a horse, which was really fun in church.
Got some. It's like we need to have a conversation. Have you got that? Got that line yet?
You can't say that
No,
in church.
Not
It's
yet.
like she's
It's
getting a
coming.
little old for those kinds of mistakes. I think there might be something going on at the home. But anyway, sorry.
Oh, yeah. Oh.
Yeah. Anyway, sorry.
Good times.
Okay. So yes, we will move on now. That was a clunky transition, but shush, I'm tired.
We're already on part
No.
3?
We're like 5 minutes in. Why would
Oh.
we be on part 3? Anyway. Part
Hardcore.
4. Oh my gosh. All right, look. Trump said Tylenol's bad for you. Okay, so that's our first story. That's my lead in. We've got the press conference here.
But is it?
We're going to react to a little bit of it.
Why would he say such a terrible
Oh, probably
thing?
because it's true. You know, you mean a synthetic thing made in a lab is bad for you? You're kidding.
It's
take
not
it all the time.
actually new information. I remember when Kim was pregnant with Lucy, there's some big lawsuit against Tylenol for that exact reason. So, I mean, people have known this is a potential issue for years, but Trump says it, and suddenly now we have to chug Tylenol to try to own MAGA, I guess. I don't know.
She won. But anyway,
That's
I'm glad
something
she's
that I have a
alive, though,
problem
and I
with.
hope her kid ends up being okay, but good night. Wow.
That's something I have trouble understanding is why are people like so against MAGA? Like, do they not understand that it just means that we're for our country?
Oh, I have so many theories about that.
It's like, what, do you not like the country so much
No, that
Yes.
that you hate the phrase "make your country great again"?
let me explain the mind of
simple that.
the mind of these people. Like, people act like it's an enigma. I don't think it is. It's I hate my father. When I think of these people that are anti-MAGA, I just think of spiteful nudists. It's like petulant teenagers that are like, "Look, Dad, I'm naked. Do you love me now? F you." That's like what it is, even though they're humiliating themselves in public. In other words, these are people that cut off their nose to spite their own face. And so
Like Voldemort.
it doesn't matter if it's transgenderism. It doesn't matter if it's self-destructive. It doesn't matter if it's ODing on Tylenol. Like, America, nationalism, it's all tradition. It's all my dad. It's all authority. And so there's no ethos beyond, I hate that thing that's older than me.
So it's literally just rebellion.
Straight up, pure rebellion. Pure rebellion. That's right.
Not
Yeah.
complicated. People never
Yeah,
grow
people
up.
are like, "Oh, look how hypocritical the left is." It's like they don't have an ethos, guys. They just hate you. Like, there's no ideology. It's not like we're talking about existentialism and the potential tensions within existentialism and nihilism. Like, how can you know if there's an objective morality when there is no God, and you have these self-defeating, like, problems with a worldview that you've got to dissect? No, they just hate their dads. There's no, like, they don't care if there's a tension or an inconsistency, because it's not about it's not about anything. It's just about tearing stuff down. Like, when you and I talk about being pro-life, we believe in life. We believe in this concept of life. You know what I mean? Like,
Life has
life
value.
has value.
all
We
has
have an
value.
ideology that teaches, that life is objective and the value is objective and God has created us and all that. So there's a philosophical underpinning behind that political position. Like, our religion, our philosophy, that determines our politics. But these people, like, when they say pro-choice, they don't actually believe that a woman has the right to choose. Do you understand? They'll say it. They'll scream their heads off about it. Now, again, we're talking about the left. We're talking about people who take Tylenol to OD. They'll say the parrot line because they've heard it. But what it's really about is, wait a minute, I like sex, but I don't want to have a kid, so I need the abortion for an out. There's no, like, philosophical ideology that they're defending. It's just reactionary. It's just, I want to do what I want.
they made it very clear, like, during COVID, you have the right to choose, unless it's this vaccine that we popped out of a, factory 2 months ago, and now you have to take it or else you're going to get fired.
Exactly. And people act like it's
so
confusing, but it's like it's really not. It's just all about I want to do what I want and screw my father for telling me what to do. It's angry, petulant teenage girl syndrome. That's all it is, which is why most of these crazy leftists are angry teenage girls. So, not to be sexist, but anyway, yeah, they hate MAGA because it represents tradition and authority. That's really what it is. And if it's tradition and if it's authority, they hate it. They're not like you and I. We think about ideals, we think about philosophy, we think about abstract concepts. They don't, and they never have. It's just all about burning stuff down and getting even with somebody who hurt them when they were younger or some such thing. Bottom line, it's very emotional. And it's self-destructive and humiliating. You know what I mean? Like, which is kind of why I brought up the nudist analogy, as weird as that is. It's like these people look like fools, but they think they're sticking it to the man.
What if I told you I wanted to be a nudist?
Don't tell me about it, and don't go, "Hi, Dad, I'm naked," because that would be weird.
Yeah, no, I don't think my dad would be okay with
yeah. I would doubt it. I'd be like, you were going to get an inheritance. I hope you really like that beach. So, anyway, so does anybody have anything else to add to that point?
No, that's a very good explanation.
No, boiled it down.
Okay, well,
Thank you.
no problem. I hope I just was coherent, so hopefully that made sense. But anyway, all right, so after we've discussed the self-destructive tendencies of these leftist types, let's watch Trump talk about why Tylenol is bad for you, and then Tylenol going, "Yeah, we know," and then the women going, "How dare you?" I'm sorry, the leftists going, "How dare you?" So let's see here.
For some reason, a more severe problem. But whether it's 1 in 12 or 1 in 31, can you imagine? That's down from 1 in 20,000, then 1 in 10,000. And now we're at the level of 1 in 12 in some cases for boys. 1 in 31 overall. So
Just for
since
clarity, he's
2000,
talking about autism rates.
I'm autistic.
autism rates have surged by much more than 400%. Instead of attacking those who ask questions, everyone should be grateful for those who are trying to get the answers to this complex situation. And the first day all of these great doctors behind me were there, I told them this is what we have to find out. Because when you go from 20,000 to 10,000 and then you go to 12, there's something artificial. They're taking something. And by the way, I think I can say that there are certain groups of people that don't take vaccines and don't take any pills that have no autism.
He's talking about the Amish, in case you're wondering. It's like, hey, why don't the Amish, those guys that don't take any of our crap, why don't they get sick? Where's the polio epidemic with the Amish?
That have no autism. Does that tell you something? That's currently, is that a correct statement, by the way?
There are some studies that suggest that, with the Amish, for example.
The Amish, virtually. I heard none. See, Bobby wants to be very careful with what he says, and he should, but I'm not so careful with what I say. But you have certain
To be
groups,
fair,
the
that is
Amish.
why we voted for him. So.
I'm not so careful.
As an
I love how he
example.
just stopped. He's like, "Is that right? Okay, is that right? Am I?"
Yeah. It's like, yeah, it's stuff like that. That's why he's popular.
Hearing.
Or unpopular.
They have essentially no autism. First, effective immediately, the FDA will be notifying physicians that the use of let's see how we say that. Acetaminophen. Is that okay? Yes. Which is basically commonly known as Tylenol. During pregnancy can be associated with a very increased risk of autism. So taking Tylenol is not good. All right, I'll say it. It's not good. For this reason, they are strongly recommending that women limit Tylenol use during pregnancy unless medically necessary. That's, for instance, in cases of extremely high fever, that you feel you can't tough it out, you can't do it. I guess there's that. It's a small number of cases, I think. But if you can't tough it out, if you can't do it, that's what you're going to have to do. You'll take a Tylenol, but it'll be very sparingly. It can be something that's very dangerous to the woman's health. In other words, a fever that's very, very dangerous, and ideally a doctor's decision, because I think you shouldn't take it, and you shouldn't take it during the entire pregnancy. They may tell you that toward the end of the pregnancy you shouldn't take it during the entire, and you shouldn't give the child a Tylenol every time he's born and he goes and has a shot. You shouldn't give a Tylenol to that child. All pregnant women should talk to their doctors for more information about limiting the use of this medication while pregnant. So ideally you don't take it at all, but if you can't tough it out, if there's a problem, you're going to end up doing it. The other thing that I can tell you that I'll say that they will maybe say at a little bit later date, but I think when you go for the shot, you do it over a 5-time period. Take it over 5 times or 4 times, but you take it
What
in
shot is he referring
smaller
to?
doses.
Sorry?
What shot is he
I
referring
missed
to?
that exactly. Greg, did you happen to hear what shot he was referring to?
Yeah, I've been trying to.
Yeah, he seems to be referring to like taking Tylenol by a shot, but that's not how people take Tylenol.
Yeah.
So I'm,
I'm getting the vibe that he didn't. I don't think he's ever taken Tylenol before.
he can't say acetaminophen.
Yeah. That's probably why he's a billionaire.
Yeah.
He never took the shot, so he's miles ahead of us.
Yeah.
Well, let me take a moment here since we paused to ask a question, because there's basically 2 theories to go about this. Because the way I understand this, having listened to the news for the last week on the subject, is you've basically got the Tylenol weakening the blood-brain barrier, and then the heavy metals and the toxicity of the vaccines causing brain damage after that barrier has been weakened. So that's a kind of a 1-2 punch is the way I've understood this problem. So, yeah. So let me posit it this way. Do you think that this is a scenario where they are, as Alex Jones would say, soft killing people, as in these are intentionally tainted vaccines that are meant to kill people slowly over time, like i.e. Bill Gates giving India polio and then India banning him because there's nothing to see there? Or do you think this is a situation where, like, I'm going to say something I never thought I'd say. I actually feel a little bad for Tylenol, and I don't actually blame them as much as other people might. And the reason being is because you can't do effective clinical studies on pregnant women. Because what psychopath, except the most extreme I hate my father leftist, would actually agree to a clinical trial where their child could end up being adversely affected by an experimental drug? You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. None of them. You would hope no pregnant mother would ever do that. So how is Tylenol supposed to effectively test their drug on pregnant women? They can't. And so I'm a little like, you're not the bad guy. That's the fair point. I don't really want you doing clinical trials on pregnant women. That sounds like a bad idea. So I'm actually a little empathetic to them.
Yeah, the only logical way they could go about it is to do like a survey,
which is
where they ask women after they've had their kid, did you take this?
Which is where this information is coming from, because we've been getting snippets of data that's kind of not direct over the course of years, and now we're starting to go, okay, there seems to be a correlation between Tylenol and autism, but because it's survey data, we don't exactly know what the precise extent of it is. Does that make sense? Because there could be a million different correlations since this is information taken after the fact and not a specific experiment designed to look for that thing and to get rid of everything. Like you can't develop an effective control with survey data, So that's kind of the problem with this, because I don't want them testing stuff on pregnant women. That would be awful. So this is kind of the best they can do. So I'm not going to jump down Tylenol's throat very much about it, but given how much resistance we've gotten over even just having this press conference and even having this conversation, I know that there's got to be some bad actor somewhere in this, because he doth protest too much. So that obviously steers this suspicion towards the vaccine companies, the guys putting out the hepatitis B shot and everything else. So do you think it's an intentional soft kill weapon with the vaccines, or do you think it's one of those deals where these vaccines are just really dirty, really sloppily put together? They're kind of gross in how they're put together, and people are just trying to save money and cut corners, and they're poisoning the public because they're lazy. So do you think this is laziness, or do you think this is the result of a soft kill weapon, this autism epidemic? Trevor, we'll start with you. What do you think?
I think they're doing the soft killing, but on purpose.
Okay, so that's intentional. So it's a soft kill weapon.
It's an intentional. We're gonna make you just a tiny bit sick, so you'll keep going to the doctor, and then we'll just up your dose if you keep feeling worse.
Okay.
That's happened to me.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that would attest to that. So Trevor thinks it's a soft kill weapon. Greg, what do you think?
I would think it's probably
Think
just
it's laziness?
simply because if it was like a conspiracy of soft kill weapon, as you say, it would just take one person leaking this information out. And when you're talking about something as blatantly evil as this, there would have to be a lot of people involved. You would think there would be somebody that would have come out and that was involved in this that would have said something. But I don't know. Maybe they're all just demon possessed.
They are,
But
all of them.
It's all of them, everyone. It's possible, but I would lean more towards laziness.
Well, I mean, think about it. The demons have had thousands of years to plant this, so.
Yeah.
I am leaning more towards soft kill, mostly because of Bill Gates being the head of Planned Parenthood and the head of vaccines, and being connected to the prominent eugenics movement. Given the guys in the leadership, that makes me think it's soft kill. As far as, I'll address some of the comments that you made with regards to the people speaking out, and you would think there'd be a lot of people involved. That's one of the deals that I methodologically, that's why they do compartmentalization. They don't, not every doctor has to know what the vaccine does. They've just got to trust the science,
There would still have to be quite a bit of people in charge of these vaccine companies that would know what they're doing, and they would know it would deliver it. So
I think it depends on what you mean by large. I would say, if I'm just going to shoot a number out in the ballpark, I would say there's probably somewhere between 20 and 100 people that actually know. And I think you could pull the conspiracy off of 20 to 100 people in positions of leadership. So, and I think you could compartmentalize it all the way down from there. So, because what do you what do you need? What do you need if you're going to do a soft kill weapon? You need a methodology. So let's just take one conspiracy theory, for example. Let's take Bill Gates's polio thing. Now, the way that I understood that they did this, because number one, during his TED Talk, he said that they were going to limit the population through vaccines. Well, guess how that's done. The way that I understand him doing this is they basically took a protein that is connected to, it's the same kind of protein that, like your internal sexual organs are made out of. So like your ovaries and your testicles, like that they grew the virus on a strand of proteins that is shared with your sexual reproductive organs. And so not only did the body learn to fight the virus, the polio virus, it also started to attack the ovaries because it linked the protein strand with the virus itself. And so it attacked certain kinds of bodies. So it's basically Bill Gates is creating autoimmune disorders to kind of slowly kill people off, like reduce their life expectancy through inflammation because the body's constantly attacking itself. So you need somebody who knows that theory, who has that theory, and then you need somebody who can actually, like make the chemical and all of this. And then after that, it's just a matter of distribution. And I would argue that once you get through the distribution chain, nobody else needs to know. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, I mean...
Yeah. I just think, like you said, 20 to 100 people, it's possible to be a conspiracy, but 100 people doing something this evil, you would think there'd be somebody with a conscience.
Yeah, and I imagine there have been, but they get Hillary Clinton'd.
Yeah.
They get deleted.
They get WikiLeaksed. So, yeah, I don't know. Pick your nefarious verb. So that's kind of what I think it is. I think also you got to remember the CIA and everybody else is always running, like, the media narrative is insane. Like, think about Waco. Like, they burned women and children alive in broad daylight, but they had the media and they're like, this is okay. This is okay because David Koresh is crazy.
Good.
He was a polygamist, so we should burn his wife and children. It's okay because he's crazy. That's how they were able to convince a whole group of people, like the whole Dad Blame Nation, that it was perfectly fine to kill innocent people because the man was a nut. And if they could do that, then all they need to say is like, conspiracy theorist, you and your silly vaccine theories. Justice science. So I'm getting better at that Fauci voice. I blame the cigars. So, but I'm actually worried about Tylenol. So anyway, all right. So do we want to go on, or does anybody have any thoughts?
Go on with your bad self.
Greg?
Yeah, I mean, I would just note again, this is not exactly new information. This has been going on. People have been talking about the link between Tylenol and autism for years at this point. And, everybody acts like this is, well, it's because the FDA is behind it and stating it now. But people have known
CLRS.
CLRS sent us an emoji. It's like, what is that? It's a bunny rabbit or a ghost? I don't know. We're old.
It's a reaction.
So, all right.
I'll be right back. One minute, guys.
Well, Mr. Trevor, what do you think while he's gone? Let's keep this conversation rolling. I'd like to try to wait till he gets back to start it up again.
What do I think about what?
You're talking about it being a soft kill. I guess it's not super interesting because I guess we're both in agreement. But
well, I mean, the way I think about it is because I take a thyroid medication, and since taking the medication, I've only seemed to have gotten worse. It doesn't get better. So instead of like being like, oh, let's change it or something, they just upped my dose.
Yeah.
And then it got worse again.
Yeah.
Instead of trying something else. And I did suggest, hey, is there another one I can take? And they're like, no, this one's the best for you. And they upped my dose again. And still hasn't helped.
I have a similar situation, but it's not nearly as, hey, there's another emoji. That's cool. Yay, emojis. Anyway, yeah.
Probably on their phone.
So I have a similar one, but it's not nearly as, like, high stakes. Mine's more, pedantic, I guess. But I've had a similar experience with toothpaste, actually, of all things.
Oh, yeah, don't brush your teeth.
Yeah, well, I don't use Crest anymore because when I was using Crest and Colgate, Like my gums were constantly bleeding. I had cavities all the freaking time. And I brushed every day. I've never been somebody who didn't, I've never been somebody who didn't brush their teeth.
Like me.
I guess those are your words. But anyway, yeah, I never had issues not brushing my teeth, but I kept getting cavities. And finally, I stopped brushing with Crest and Colgate. I went to Sensodyne and some off-brand stuff. I bought Alex Jones's stuff when it was available. I'm sure there's other healthy toothpastes out there, but I just started getting stuff you couldn't get at Walmart. And once I did that, all the cavities, the bleeding gums, all that crap stopped. It was the freaking toothpaste the whole time.
Yeah.
So
A lot of people use just charcoal.
Yeah.
Nasty.
I'm sure
Tastes
it
nasty,
does.
but it works.
Yeah, there's a recipe with charcoal and aloe vera that I've been meaning to try.
Oh, that would be foul.
You're supposed to add lemon juice so it ain't quite so bad. But anyway.
I don't know that would help. Not much.
Could you imagine the sour?
Oh gosh.
taste?
Well, we're not doing it for taste, I guess. It'll wake you up in the morning. How about that? So, anyway, but yeah, I think I know what you're talking about. It's like keeping you sick is like the business model. But remember that what was her name? Laura Davino? I can't remember the book that we did, Unshrunk. Remember? She said the same. We did that book review. Unshrunk.
I listened to that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She said the same stuff. Keeping you sick is the business model. So they just,
Maybe you can just go way back. Like, the Romans used to keep their teeth
what
white.
do they do?
They gargled urine.
I think
Ammonia whitens teeth, so they gargled urine. There was some famous quote somebody said. He's like, "Don't you know? Everybody knows that the whiter your teeth are, the more piss you're gargling." A little bit of history for you guys.
I like that.
Oh wow! I think I'd stick to
I'm gonna
charcoal
start
aloe
just saying
vera.
that randomly to people.
I think I'll just take yellow teeth.
Yeah,
Thank you.
right. Peroxide works really well. Peroxide's been helping with tartar buildup. So yeah,
Just
gargling
I say
peroxide.
just yank them all
Don't
out
drink
and
peroxide, by the way.
Don't do it.
So anyway, what were you saying, Trevor?
I say just yank them all out and roll with it.
Yeah, have wooden teeth.
No, just no teeth.
Well, that would make steak very difficult.
Not if it's cooked right.
It would have to.
That sounds like you've cooked it wrong.
What are you doing? Steak puree?
You can cook steak just right where it kind of just falls apart in your mouth.
That's a roast.
Yeah, basically like a roast almost.
I don't
Or
think it
just make
counts
it-
as steak at that point.
Or just make it so juicy,
Yeah.
like the callus almost still.
All right.
moving.
Well, we're gonna I don't know. I forget the segue. We're gonna play the video again and wrap this up for real quick.
And you spread it out over a period of years. And they pump so much stuff into those beautiful little babies. It's a disgrace. I don't see it. I think it has. I think it's very
That's
bad.
another reason I think it's like a soft kill thing, but it's like policy. Like they obligate you to take like 7 of the things. Like when I was vaccinating Demi, like it was war just to spread them out.
Right.
It was like, look, I'm not saying we'll never take the vaccines, but she doesn't need 8 at the same time or 7 or however many it is at the same time.
We had to do a schedule, every.
You gotta find
twice a month. Happy meeting.
You got to find the right
schedule.
pediatrician. We haven't given Lucy any
Oh,
vaccines.
wow. Nice.
Yeah, none of our kids have had any.
Got so livid. I've told you the story when, Demi was born about the nurses carting her off. But there was one, I think it was the measles, the 3M one, the measles, mumps, or something else or whatever. And she got such a high fever, and she just screamed and screamed and screamed. She screamed for a good chunk of the night. I was livid. Oh, I was livid. Of course, they'd pressured Jess to give it to her, And that's the thing. It's like I wish
Mhm.
that's the thing that really makes me mad about it is the amount of pressure these people put on parents is just disgusting. And so it's like it's either a soft kill weapon or a money racket, one of the two. But those nurses have got to be getting pressure from somebody themselves because there's like an emotional bent to it. Like they get mad if
Yeah.
you try to space it out, like legitimately mad. So
Yep.
I think a lot of it depends on the hospital. Like with Lucy, we didn't let them do anything to her, and you could tell the doctors, the pediatrician, they were so ticked. But then with Gideon, we went to Mercy, which is a Catholic hospital, and we didn't get any of that. They
see, I think they
Yeah,
went behind my back. We had, I think, if I remember correctly, we'd had the vaccine question before, and I'd said no. And then they turned around and asked Jess while she was high on that freaking drug or whatever, right before she's about to give birth. And of course she's out of it. And they do that pressure tactic when she's out of it. I mean, I don't remember if the epidural affects the brain or not, but she was not in a good state. It doesn't.
No, it just sort of paralyzes you from the waist down.
She was kind of, I guess, vulnerable in some capacity, if not outright drug. But she just had the epidural, and they went in after she'd had the epidural and asked her, and then she said yes, and I think there was some pressuring going on at that point. So they just ask until they go behind your back. They try to pit the parents against, like they do tricks. You know what I mean? They do tricks to get stuff.
Like with me and Kim, they drug tested Kim without our knowledge.
Yeah, because they wanted to take her.
Yeah, they wanted to have.
They threatened Jess.
Couldn't you go back and sue them for that? Could you go back and sue them for that?
No, I complained, and they said, no, this is general policy. We drug test because the Lucy was early. They were like, general policy. We drug test everybody who's
Is that
early.
really general policy?
I don't know.
I remember.
I wouldn't doubt it at that hospital.
I remember when Jess, because Demi had like a heart murmur, and so they took her to the ICU. And I remember about a day or two before she was supposed to go home, they gave her this sheet of this form that she was supposed to fill out. Like she's supposed to get up an absurd amount to check on Demi all the time, even though Demi had healed at that point. And they were like, if you miss one line, we're going to take your kid away. Like they threatened to take her kid away if she missed one line, And it's like, all right, are you a chart person or like you're just like, are you looking for an excuse to take her kid away because we don't cooperate with you people? We don't want to,
Yeah.
Yeah, we were
One thing I
fine with
learned
that.
after all this, I learned you can just get up and leave. You can just walk out of the hospital if your wife and the baby are good. You can just leave. You don't actually have to go through all this crap.
Yeah.
They can't hold you. You're not a prisoner.
They make you feel like a prisoner, though. They really do.
Mhm.
It's awful.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
I did look that up. The drug testing thing.
Mhm.
I just asked as a general policy. The general policy regarding drug testing for birthing mothers, particularly those who are early in their pregnancy, is not uniform across the United States. Some states and hospital systems have updated their policies to be less punitive, focusing on supporting patients in recovery from substance use disorder.
I just think they look for excuses to.
So it might have just been simply the hospital you were at.
Yeah, it was a terrible hospital. Never go. Yeah, Cox is awful.
Yeah. I've heard bad things about them. So,
Yeah.
all right. Well, let's finish this up. We'll do this another minute or two, and then we'll move on to the next subject.
They're pumping, it looks like they're pumping into a horse. You have a little fragile child, and you get a vat of 80 different vaccines, I guess, 80 different blends, and they pump it in. So ideally, a woman won't take Tylenol. And on the vaccines, it would be good instead of one visit where they pump the baby, load it up with stuff, You'll do it over a period of 4 times or 5 times. I've been so into this issue for so many years just because I couldn't understand how a thing like this could happen. And it's artificially induced. It's not like something that when you go from all of those, healthy babies to a point where I don't even know structurally if a country can afford it. And that's the least of the problems. To have families destroyed over this is just so terrible. I also, and we've already done this, we want no mercury in the vaccine. We want no aluminum in the vaccine. The MMR, I think, should be taken separately. This is based on what I feel, the mumps, measles, and the 3 should be taken separately.
I agree with that. Yeah,
100%.
Demi was like, there's nothing worse than seeing your baby like in physical pain, and you can't do crap about it. And she was in physical pain. Like I was just livid. Like I can't describe how angry I was that night. But anyway, so we're about 8 minutes into this thing. I guess we'll finish this sentence and we'll wrap it up.
And it seems to be that when you mix them, there could be a problem. So there's no downside in taking them separately. In fact, they think it's better, so let it be separate. The chicken pox is already separate because when that got mixed in, I guess they made it 4 for a while, it really was bad. So they make chicken pox. Individually, they're okay. When you mix them, something maybe happens. So
Yeah. What a shock.
Yeah.
Their whole system shuts down sometimes.
Like they're newborns. Why are you infecting them with 3 separate diseases to try to immunize them? That doesn't. There's no reason for it.
And who knows? Again, it's a kind of a coin toss. Is it a soft kill thing? They're mixing them to try to kill the kids, or are they mixing them because they're risk averse? Boy, it'd be so much cheaper if we could just cram all these into one vial. It could, but either way, it's just disgusting Machiavellian crap.
That's scary, though. What's to say that they haven't already done it?
Done what?
Already mixed them.
Well, they are. That's what that MMR thing was. Mumps, measles, and I forget the other one.
No, I know, but what's to say that they're not putting them all in one vaccine and giving you 4 doses of the same thing?
Nothing would surprise me. Nothing. It's just evil. Anyway. Okay, well that's enough for this subject. So we're gonna move on. You guys have any final thoughts?
Moving on.
All right.
Not really.
Okay, well, guys, if you're still on the live stream, stay with us. We got another 2 subjects. If you are watching this after the fact, thank you so much for watching. And we will see you next time. We hope you enjoyed this episode of Faith, Fiction, and Folklore. If you did, we would love it if you would subscribe to us on YouTube or follow us on Rumble. We can also be found on X, Instagram, and Facebook. And we are available on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, and iHeartRadio. Thank you again very much for listening, and we'll see you next time.